The Pacific doesn't care how prepared you are. Out there, alone, it's just you and an ocean that's deeper and more ruthless than most people can imagine. One mistake, one broken line, one slip on a wet deck, and you're gone. No mayday, no rescue, just silence. Solo sailors keep disappearing. Boats are found drifting under full sail, food still on the stove, logbooks open, everything in place, except the person who was supposed to be there. No sign of struggle, no sign of weather, just vanished. In this video, we're digging into the hard truth behind those disappearances. The isolation, the gear failures, the brutal toll of being utterly alone. These aren't freak accidents. This is what happens when the sea decides you don't get to come home. Out in the Pacific, you can sail for days, sometimes weeks, without seeing another soul. No ships on the horizon, no voices on the radio, no contrails in the sky. Just endless blue water, the creak of your boat, and the quiet hum of your own thoughts. At first, that isolation feels like peace, like freedom. No phones, no noise, no obligations, just you and the sea. But then, the silence starts to change. It gets inside your head. The Pacific is vast beyond imagination. It's not just empty, it's emptier than most people can comprehend. When you're hundreds or even thousands of miles from the nearest help, every little sound becomes louder, every creak more suspicious, every minor decision loaded with weight. There's no one to bounce ideas off, no second opinion, no one to cover for you when your body starts to wear down. It's just you, awake, alert, and slowly fraying at the edges. Sleep becomes a dangerous game. You start by taking short naps, trusting your autopilot to hold course. Maybe you set an alarm every 15 minutes, but the exhaustion builds. Your body wants rest, your mind begins to drift. Eventually, you close your eyes a little too long. Maybe a squall rolls in, maybe a log drifts into your path. Maybe nothing happens at all until something does. The isolation turns even small problems into life-threatening situations. Cut your hand. You better be able to stitch it. Twist your ankle on deck. Now you're limping every time you need to reef. Drop a winch handle overboard. Hope you brought a spare. Or you're improvising every sail change for the next 1,000 miles. Worse still is the mental toll. Days blur together. You lose track of time. You talk to yourself, not out of madness, but because silence becomes unbearable. Some sailors report hallucinations, shadows that move on the water, voices on the wind. You start to wonder if you've missed something. You second-guess your course, your decisions, your judgment. And out here, doubt can be deadly. That's the trap. You go to sea for solitude, for adventure, for clarity, and at first you find it. But the longer you're out there, the more that solitude presses down on you. Until one day, a small slip, a simple misstep, becomes the last mistake you ever make. And there's no one there to catch it, no one to save you, no one to even know you're gone. The Pacific doesn't need to roar to be deadly. Sometimes it just waits, quiet, still, watching, and that's when it's most dangerous. Your boat is your world when you're solo at sea. It's your shelter, your engine, your water maker, your communication link, your lifeline. And every single system, every fitting, wire, bolt, and seal has to work. Because if something fails out here, there's no help coming. It's just you, the broken gear, and an ocean that doesn't care how clever you are. The brutal truth? Things do fail, even on the best prepared boats. Saltwater is relentless. It corrodes, it seeps, it breaks things down in ways you don't always see coming. A cracked weld, a loose fitting, a tired wire. All of it fine when you left port, all of it potential disaster now. And when something fails mid-ocean, the consequences can be immediate and extreme. Rudders snap, autopilots short out, water makers clog, batteries die, a critical winch freezes, a halyard parts, a sail tears down the middle. And unlike coastal sailing, where you might limp into a marina or call for a tow, you're stuck, maybe days from land, maybe weeks. All you've got is what's on board, and what you can figure out before the next system breaks. Take James Frederick, for example. His rudder failed deep in the Pacific, far from any help. He survived by lashing together an emergency steering system. It worked, barely, but that kind of fix takes know-how, tools, and sheer willpower, and even then, luck plays a role. Many solo sailors don't get that chance. Their boats are found adrift, rudderless, sails flogging, gear untouched, and no one on board. When your autopilot fails, the challenge ramps up fast. Suddenly, you're hand-steering 24 hours a day. Sleep becomes a dream. Your energy drains away hour by hour. You start making mistakes, and out here, the smallest mistake, a missed squall, an unreefed sail, a shift in the wind, can be the one that ends you. It's not just about the hardware either. Even routine problems, like a clogged head, a jammed line, a seized block, can throw your whole rhythm off. Fixing it means leaving the helm, climbing onto a heaving deck, often in rough weather, sometimes in the dark. You're tired, maybe cold, maybe hurt, but the gear doesn't care. It needs fixing, and it needs it now. Gear failures aren't exciting. They're not dramatic, but they're deadly, because they come quietly, and they come fast. And if you don't catch them in time, or if you don't have the right part or the right tools or the strength to keep going, the ocean finishes the job for you. There's a brutal kind of honesty that sets in when you're out at sea alone. No matter how strong or skilled you are, the truth is always the same. You're just one person, on one boat, in a body of water that spans half the globe. There's no one to pick you up if you fall, no one to take the helm if you get sick, no one to pull you back if a wave tosses you overboard. You are entirely exposed to the elements, to your own limits, and to the cold indifference of the ocean. When you sail solo, every task is yours, every sail change, every repair, every meal. And when things get rough, when the wind howls and the sea rises, you have to be on deck. You can't take turns. You can't rest while someone else watches the radar. You push through exhaustion because you have no other choice. That's where the real danger creeps in. Fatigue breaks down everything. It dulls your reflexes, clouds your judgment, weakens your grip, and the sea doesn't care how tired you are. One wrong step on a wet deck, one fumbled knot, one unsecured harness, and you're gone. Overboard, out of sight, in seconds. Injuries become high stakes. A sprained wrist, a deep cut, a knock to the head. Out here, they don't just slow you down, they could kill you. Infection, shock, bleeding out, all possible if you can't get it under control. There's no doctor, no medevac, no emergency room, just your first aid kit in your own hands. Mental strain adds another layer. Loneliness can morph into anxiety. Fear starts to creep in with every shift in the wind, every groan of the hull. Even the most seasoned sailors can find themselves spiraling when they're completely alone for days or weeks. Being vulnerable doesn't just mean you're exposed to the sea, it means you're relying entirely on your ability to keep going no matter what. And when your body and mind start to fail, when exhaustion and pain set in, there's no backup. That's the brutal reality of sailing solo. It's not just challenging, it's unforgiving. One bad moment, and that could be the end of the story. There are few things more haunting than finding a boat at sea with no one on board. The sails are up, the gear is tidy, meals half prepared in the galley, logbooks up to date, no sign of a storm, no sign of a struggle, just silence. This isn't fiction. It happens, and it's happening more than people realize. Take Guo Chuan, a seasoned Chinese sailor attempting to break a record crossing the Pacific. His high-tech trimaran was found adrift, fully intact off Hawaii in 2016. No damage, no distress call, no body, just gone. Or Jerry Roofs, a veteran solo racer in the Vendée Globe. He vanished in the South Pacific in 1997. His boat eventually washed up on the coast of Chile. Months later, battered but still afloat. He was never found. Then, there's Hartwell Champagne, an American sailor lost in 2025. His boat ran aground in Queensland, Australia, with no one aboard. Weather was fair, the yacht was seaworthy, but he was nowhere. These are not rookies. These are experienced sailors, prepared, equipped, and still, they vanished. No EPIRB activation. No call for help, no wreckage, just empty boats drifting in the world's biggest, quietest graveyard. And the scariest part? We may never know what happened. Did they fall overboard while on deck? Did exhaustion catch up with them? Did something mechanical fail at the worst possible time? Or was it something else entirely? The ocean gives no explanations. It only keeps its secrets. These stories aren't just tragic. They're a chilling reminder of how thin the line is between adventure and oblivion when you sail solo across the Pacific. One moment, you're trimming a sail, the next, you're a name on a missing persons list. And when the boat finally drifts in, days or weeks later, it doesn't bring answers, just questions, just silence, just the eerie stillness of a life paused mid-sentence. That's the final fear every solo sailor carries, whether they admit it or not, that they won't die in a blaze of wind and waves, but vanish quietly, swallowed by a sea that never says what happened. Every solo sailor knows the checklist. Life raft, EPIRBAIS, jack lines, harnesses, a satellite tracker, medical kit, backups for the backups. You can spend months prepping your boat, dialing in your safety gear, double-checking every bolt and battery, and still, it might not be enough. That's the hard truth about the Pacific. You can do everything right and still not come home. Modern technology has made solo sailing safer, no doubt about it. EPIRBS can alert rescuers the moment you hit the water. AIS lets ships see you and lets you track them. Satellite phones and trackers let you send updates from the middle of nowhere. But all of that relies on one thing: you being conscious and able to use it. Go overboard without your harness clipped in, and it doesn't matter if the EPIRB's right there in the cockpit. It might as well be on the moon. Knocked unconscious? You're not activating anything. Hit your head, or black out from fatigue or heat stroke, and all that safety gear becomes just dead weight drifting with the wind. Even when it works perfectly, safety equipment has limits. Your life raft may deploy, but if a wave flips it or punctures it, you're now floating in a half-inflated shell. Your AIS beacon might transmit your location, but if you're in the middle of the Pacific, rescue could be days away. That's if anyone sees it in time. That's if conditions allow them to reach you. Many sailors rely on autopilots to manage rest and steering. But what happens when the autopilot fails? Now you're hand steering around the clock, and fatigue starts eating away at you hour by hour. You start skipping harness checks, skipping meals, making mistakes, and mistakes kill. The Pacific doesn't wait for your equipment to fail all at once. It chips away at your systems, your routine, your strength, until you're too tired or too distracted to realize something's gone terribly wrong. A small failure in calm weather might be manageable. That same failure in 30 knots of wind and heavy seas, catastrophic. And, let's be honest, a lot of solo sailors pride themselves on independence, on grit. That can lead to pushing limits, ignoring signs, thinking, I can handle this, and most of the time, they can. But it only takes once. Safety gear is vital. Every solo sailor should carry it, maintain it, trust it. But it's not a guarantee. It's not a force field. It's not magic. The ocean doesn't care how many checklists you followed. It only cares that you were alone at the wrong moment when everything went quiet. In the Pacific, safety gear gives you a chance, but that's all it is, a chance. And sometimes, the ocean doesn't give second chances. Solo sailing across the Pacific is one of the last true tests left in the modern world. It's raw, it's wild, it strips you down to nothing but nerve, skill, and instinct. But it also carries a price, one that's claimed more sailors than most people realize. They vanish without warning, not because they were reckless, not because they were unprepared, but because out there, alone, even the smallest crack in the system, or in yourself, can open the door to the abyss. We've talked about the isolation, the gear failures, the brutal physical limits, the eerie disappearances, and the hard truth that safety gear can only take you so far. And through it all, one thing becomes clear: the Pacific doesn't need a reason, it just needs a moment. So if you ever find yourself dreaming of casting off alone, chasing that endless horizon, do it with your eyes wide open. Because out there in the void, the ocean isn't your friend, it's your test, and not everyone makes it back.